guys, if you ask me like what is SAP, I would simply say a one-liner. SAP is business. You know, wherever there is business, there will be SAP. Be it be it manufacturing, be it media and entertainment, be it oil and gas, be it energy. SAP has to be the core of any business because without SAP, businesses cannot survive. That's for sure. And this is what I'm seeing from my 10 years of experience. History of SAP, simple. Like we have so many tables where we will be having the data and all the data will be tightly coupled to one another. The best part about SAP is like there will be no data leakage. For example, if there is a company, say for example, I can say Exxon Mobil being one of the biggest oil and gas companies. So if I take its landscape, it will be having some customers, right? It will be selling oil to someone, and then it will be purchasing something from its vendors, right? So if I take SAP in the middle of, or on the base of a company, if I take Exxon Mobil, it will be having a customer, it will be having a vendor, it will be having a material. Then on top of its customers, there will be sales orders. On top of its vendors, there will be purchase orders. Then wherever there are sales orders, purchase orders will be having something like accounts payable, account receivables. And the best part about SAP is everything is tightly coupled. There will be no data leakage. And that's one of the main reasons every organization wants to have its data in SAP. Now, why are we looking for SAP courses? Why do people want to upskill themselves on SAP? Because SAP has something called SAP S/4HANA, and there's a deadline. Like SAP has to, every client has to migrate its data from ECC to S/4HANA. And the moment clients start doing it, there will be a boom, right? And there'll be a great demand for the S/4HANA or data migration consultants. I already talked about SAP, what SAP does, history of SAP. I don't think we need it, right? Because what SAP has been doing, it's on top of its business, right? Okay, SAP S/4HANA data migration. I told you, like to each and every company, data will be the core. There's a saying like data is the new oil. And if you want to use this oil, you have to extract it and you have to transform it into some meaningful information. That's the reason every company will be having something called an ERP system. And for the SAP customers, it's S/4HANA as of now. As of now, SAP has close to 90,000 plus, I can say, partners or clients, and only 40% to 50% have migrated the data from legacy ECC to S/4HANA system. And almost 40% clients are still pending and they have to migrate their data from ECC to S/4HANA system. So you can just guess like how big the opportunities will be for S/4HANA data migration. Okay, when it comes to salary trends, you can see like if somewhere in Microsoft, other technologies, if an average person is earning somewhere close to X dollars, being an SAP data migration consultant, you can earn easily X plus maybe 30 to 40%. That's for sure, because SAP data migration will be at the peak till 2027, and then we never know what SAP will be bringing up. Because we had ECC, then SAP had something called SAP S/4HANA as of now, and maybe in the near future we can have something. Let's name it as Alpha. But the trend called data migration is never going to stop because every company wants to have a single source of truth. Now, somebody might have a question: why do we migrate data if SAP already has data in ECC system, right? Why do clients want to migrate their data to S/4HANA system? The reason is like bad data. One, bad data, or there can be mergers and acquisitions. Or there can be upgrades as well. For example, as of now, data is in ECC. But SAP is saying like, no, we will not be giving the support after 2027. So what people have to do? They have to migrate their data. So these are the three most important reasons. Like people have to people have to migrate the data from ECC to S4 HANA. Somebody can ask me like, okay, we have to migrate data. What are the tools that we need to migrate data? The first and foremost tool is data services. If you want to migrate data, SAP will always recommend. There are many tools. There is Synity, there is data services, there is SnapLogic, MarkLogic. There are so many tools. But what SAP recommends is like data services because the volume of data that it can handle is humongous. Then if somebody has to migrate data or somebody has to use data services, what is the primary skill he should be having? In my perspective, the best thing to focus on would be SQL. If somebody is good on SQL, I think it's like a boon. It's like he's already at level 2. I already talked about this, like where SAP can be implemented. Wherever there's a business, there would be SAP. That's for sure. Be it banking, be it manufacturing, be it oil and gas, be it media and entertainment. Everybody has to move, or everybody will be using this SAP systems. Now, why are we even attending this webinar? You know, what is the need? The basic thing is like in these whole 40 hours, I'll be mostly focusing on data migration because what I have seen in my past experiences, like I might have interviewed more than 500 candidates, and when I talk to candidates, the answer is like, buddy, I have been working on extraction, but I don't know how to transform data. Then somebody is like, I have loaded the data to S4 HANA or ECC system. I don't know how to extract data. So there is a gap. And in order to fix that gap, I think we will be going through all the topics, all the live sessions that will help you not only as a data services consultant, but an end-to-end data migration consultant. If you go to the market and you try to look out for resources who are having end-to-end data migration knowledge, the count would be maybe 5%. And if anybody, be be him as a fresher or he's having maybe X years of experience, it doesn't matter, because anybody who's open to learning, he should be going through this course. That's for sure. So in the whole course, we'll be using data services. So what is data services? Data services is a tool used by SAP. It's an ETL tool. And using this ETL tool, we'll be extracting the data. The source can be anything. The source can be maybe ECC. The source can be Oracle. The source can be Excel files. And then we'll be transforming this data. What do we mean by transformation? There can be equations, right? Transformation is something like you have to make the data SAP ready. If SAP is expecting country to be US, you cannot have the data like United States or someone writing it as United States of America, right? You have to make it SAP ready. So that's what we call as transformation. Once we have transformed the data, we go for the validations because if we are migrating data from legacy systems to S4 HANA system, we don't want any bad data to go through. For example, I will give you an example. There's a company, let's say Pepsi. PepsiCo has maybe 10 source systems or 10 ERP systems at different geographical locations. Now, PepsiCo wants to migrate data, right? Every company will be having two types of data. One is master data that will seldom change. It will mostly be stable. For example, my name, my bank account number, my telephone number. It's not going to change, but there will be some transaction data as well, right? So my transaction data, for example, with my bank, every day I can go, I can deposit, I can take out the cash. So this is my transaction data. Now, if this PepsiCo wants to migrate its data, it has to make sure like its master data is not duplicate, right? When we say duplicate, for example, PepsiCo has a vendor called maybe Coca-Cola. It's purchasing something from Coca-Cola. it will not. And Coca-Cola can have business relationships with the PepsiCo India, PepsiCo US, PepsiCo UK, and it's not going to migrate all the master data from 10 different systems to S4HANA system because that will be a duplication. That's where the validations come into play. We will always have some meaningful data validation so that we can have a single source of truth. When I say single source of truth, it's SAP S4HANA system for us. And we will always make sure we migrate the data with quality, and the data should be having uniqueness, conformity, and integrity. Otherwise, there is no point of migrating data to S4HANA system. And in this course, we will we will mostly focus on the data migration techniques. For example, if you ask me like how can we migrate data to S4 HANA system, I can simply say you like we can configure some IDOCs, BAPIs, LTMC or LSMWs, and then we can migrate data. So what most of the people or what most of the trainers do is like they will be mostly focusing on the transformation part because in DODS or data services, we have so many transformations, but we mostly use 5 to 10% of the transformations in data migration. So in the whole course, what my main aim would be to train you guys on the real data migration techniques, like configuring the IDOCs. How do we migrate data? How does the data migrate using an IDOC? How does the data migrate using a BAPI? Those are different techniques that we will be going through in the whole program. Okay, what are the prerequisites? If you ask me for any fresher, if he has a knowledge of SQL, basic queries.
Sorry, this is Alok. I've been getting quite a lot of questions. As a functional consultant, moving on to becoming a data migration consultant, is there a lot of coding involved? If you can just attend that whenever you have a chance, all right?
Okay, I have an answer to this. The question is, let me repeat the question. Being a functional consultant, what does it take to be a data migration consultant? I would answer it like this. If there's a kid who asks me, hey friend, I want to use Microsoft Paint, how much time it's going to take him? Maybe some 1 day, 2 day to teach a kid how to use Paint. That is data services. It's a graphical tool, simple drag and drop. What SAP data services does is like it writes a SQL code, fortunately, for us in the backend. But in the front end, it's always drag and drop. I want to use a query, I can drag a query transform and I'm done. So it's simply for any functional consultant, it's like learning MS Paint. That's how easy it is. What about LTMC and LTMOM? So LTMC and LTMOM is something what SAP is recommending nowadays. You know why? Because even a layman can migrate data using LTMC and LTMOM. Earlier, what we used to do is like we used to have LSMWs, right? But in the LSMWs, we had to create the format and then we could upload those templates or format and then we could load the data. But now SAP has become smart. SAP has given us the templates and it will be having all the fields, all the tables that are required for this object. For example, I want to migrate material, right? I want to migrate material master and I have an LTMC template readily available for that. So in LTMC template, we have two types of sheets. One is mandatory sheet and the second one is optional sheet. Mandatory, what can be mandatory for a material? Description, unit of measure, material type. If I give these basic details and I just do next on the LTMC screen, I will be good to go. I'm ready to migrate the data. What is LTMOM? Now, if somebody asks me, there's a company called PepsiCo. PepsiCo has some Z fields or custom fields. And PepsiCo wants to migrate these Z fields into S4HANA system. SAP LTMC, Legacy Transfer Migration Cockpit. It's something called standard. We don't have any Z fields over there. How can we introduce Z fields? Then we take the help of LTMOM. What we do in LTMOM is we go to SAP system, we define these fields. Okay, these are the Z fields that we are expecting from the legacy system. And we map these legacy fields or Z fields or custom fields to the target tables. For example, I have a table Mara where I can have my master data for material, right? Now it has some Z underscore A, Z underscore B, Z underscore C. I will create my functional consultants. What they will do is like they will create these Z fields in the S4HANA system, and using LTMOM, I will map these Z fields, and I can get the data from legacy system, and I can migrate these Z fields to my S4HANA system. That's the use of LTMOM and LTMC. What is SAP DMC? SAP DMC is something like where we can have something called as like recordings, For example, I want to migrate some 500 records, and these are something like one-liners. What if I have a material master and I want to update its description? The description earlier was ABC. Now I want to update this description for 500,000 material. So I can take use of some T codes, and then using the DMCs, I can do the recordings, and then I can update those fields. It's simple. It's just like the way we could use BAPIs or function modules inside the LSMWs earlier. It's similar to that. As a functional consultant and do not have programming experience, how can we move to S4HANA data migration? For functional consultants, what SAP recommends is using the LTMC. In LTMC, what happens is like it's a simple web page where SAP will give you a template. When I say template, it's an XML based template, and you can open it in your Excel. The moment you open this template in your Excel, you can fill up the data. Like this field can have this data, this field can have this data, and then there are 6, 7 steps over there. The moment you click next, it will validate the data. The moment you click next, it will just map the data to S4HANA system, and then you can migrate the data. So for a functional consultant, it's not like a functional consultant cannot move into data migration. No, it doesn't happen, because SAP is like an ocean, If you're open to learning, I don't think being a functional consultant, being a fresher, or being someone with 20 years of experience matters. It only matters how much you're open to learn. If you're open to learning, I don't think these things matter in life. If somebody, today I'm working as a data migration architect, if you tell me tomorrow move to UI5, I will simply say yes, give it to me. Because there's a saying like, throw me to the pack of wolves, I will come back leading them, That's the attitude SAP data migration or any SAP consultant should have, because SAP is evolving like anything. If you do not, I mean to say, upskill yourself, anyone can lag behind, and it's not a good thing to lag behind in SAP, because they are evolving like anything. I have seen some technical consultants in my career who are both functional consultants and data migration consultants. If you tell me as a data migration consultant who has not the functional knowledge, it becomes very difficult for him to understand the flow of data. If someone is a functional consultant and he moves to data migration, it becomes really easy for him. You know why? Because it's very easy for him to understand like how the data will flow. If you tell a data migration consultant, hey, you need to migrate data for material master, he will only know Mara, MAKT, MAST, MAKT and MBKE, that's it. But a functional consultant knows what is Mara, what is MAKT, how does the description flow, how does the alternate unit of measure flow, what is the difference between unit of measure and alternate unit of measure, how does the system adapt. For example, I'm trying to sell a box of tiles to a client, right? I can sell the tiles in a box, or I can sell it in pieces. Now, how does the system understand one box is equal to 12 pieces? SAP functional consultants do have this knowledge. Like, how do we set up the system? That SAP understands. Okay, someone is trying to sell in base unit of measure as box, and someone is trying to sell it in pieces. How to map it? So, being a functional consultant, moving to data migration, it will always be a plus point. Does the data migration process validate the data field which were mandatory after 6 years of implementation? What is the prerequisite? The prerequisite for data migration would be knowing SQL. If somebody knows SQL, I would be really glad, because at the end of everything, SAP ERP system will be dependent on HANA Studio. When you say HANA Studio, see, basically these are three different things: a legacy system, HANA Studio, which acts as a database to ERP system S4HANA. Please don't confuse yourself between S4HANA system, which is an ERP, and HANA Studio, which is a database. So what basically happens is like whatever data you have in the legacy system, be it ECC, Oracle, Excel files, anything, you will always extract them and you will dump this data into a HANA Studio. And how does HANA Studio work? It works on SQL. If anybody has SQL knowledge, it will be a great advantage. Who should take up this course? I would say anyone who's open to learning. It really doesn't matter if you have 20 years of experience or you are a fresher. It doesn't matter. If you're open to learning, it's up for anyone. Okay, training benefits, definitely. I told all this about all this in the beginning. If somebody is at level 0, by level 0 I mean a fresher who wants to explore SAP, he will definitely move to level 2, that's for sure. And if somebody is an experienced guy who wants to crack interviews or he wants to grow in his current role, then this training is for him or her. Okay, what is the goal of data migration? Basically, the goal of data migration is to have single source of truth. If I have data in 10 different ERP systems and I want to generate a report, it's very difficult for me. I have to employ 10 different people, and I can never have a single source of truth. And there can be system downtimes as well. What if I have data in one system and there's a purchase order in some other system? So it doesn't make any sense for me to keep data in 10 different or 12 different sources. That's the reason SAP wants everybody to move into S/4HANA so that we can have single source of truth. Data migration, simple. What is the data migration? Data migration is simply moving your data from one system to another system. But we will not move each and every record. Why? Because the system can have bad data. I can give you an example. For example, PepsiCo is trying to migrate data. What if PepsiCo had some one-time customers, one-time vendors? By one-time customer or one-time vendor, in SAP world, we mean something like we did a transaction with those entities one time and we are not dealing with them anymore. Or we can have bad data. For example, I'm trying to have a phone number for some customer and it's like 999999999 or 88888888, right? It does not make any sense to me. I want to migrate data which is like a clean data. If I have a single source of truth, it should be reliable. And if there, what if there were mergers and acquisitions? PepsiCo in the last 10 years acquired some 10 companies, and now it had maybe 6 ERP systems in 6 different geographical locations. It has to migrate data. So that's what we will do is like we will migrate or we will simply take the, I can say good data from legacy system and I will push it to S/4HANA system. S/4HANA benefits, I cannot count. There are so many. SAP S/4HANA is like it's like a magic. With the evolution of AI, SAP is doing wonders, and I can say like there will be some numerous opportunities in SAP S/4. Okay, what's the requirement? The first and foremost requirement is to understand your scope. For example, there's a company which is not having any vendors, right? It's only selling services. Let's take an example of an IT company. An IT company will always have the customers. It will seldom have its vendors. So now the first and foremost step is to understand the scope of your migration. One of the main reasons why most of the projects fail is the lack of good resources. The second thing for any data migration project is to find out some great data migration consultants, because data is the core of any migration process. If your consultants or data migration consultants are better at what they are doing, trust me, it will be a cakewalk. Otherwise, it's a very complex task. And I have seen in my career, like there were a couple of projects which failed to implement. The reason being like I can say if I had to sum it up, it's like lack of good resources, lack of good data migration consultants, functional consultants. So the first step is like understanding your scope, and the second thing is like having great data migration teams. Then the third thing is like having the legacy system. Yeah, you need to have a system from where you can migrate the data. Third would be any ETL tool. For us, the best thing is like we'll be using the data services, and the fourth one is like S/4HANA system, where we will be dumping all this data from the legacy. Okay, we already talked about this, like mapping, data quality. You know, what happens with data is like we have to first understand like how the quality of data is. So for that, we will be using a tool called information stewards, which we will be covering in this course. Data mapping, transformations, everything will be using, and we'll be having the live sessions. We'll be doing something called like hand holding so that you guys can learn. Simple. We have discussed this. What is an ETL? ETL simply extract, transform, and load. If you have to use any data, you have to convert this into some meaningful form, and it should be accepted by the SAP. For example, I'm trying to move a country like United States to SAP system. It will not accept it because what we have done with the SAP system, we are always having something called normalization. We will not allow United States, somebody writing United States of America, somebody writing United, something like that. So we have given a particular code to United States of America, that is US. For India, IN, right? So we want to make sure our data is compatible to SAP. So for those very reasons, we will transform data and load. If somebody knows how to load data using IDOCs and BAPIs, that's more than enough. Then LTMC, LSMWs is an added advantage. And we will be covering all these topics in our course. Okay. Again, the ETL process, I would like to throw some light on this. You know, when it comes to any ETL tool is not having a memory of its own. It's just like a middleware. It just like, for example, that vessel or a cup. It will hold water for some time, but you have to sip it, right? So that's the same functionality what ETL tool does. It's not having a memory of its own. It will just help you to migrate or pick up data from one source and push it to some other source. For us, the source can be ECC system, it can be files, Excel files, or it can be Oracle or Teradata, anything. But the target system will always be S4 HANA when it comes to this course. Data services. So data services is an ETL tool. So I can say like whenever you talk about data migration, you cannot forget data services because this is really a powerful tool. I have been working with Sanity, worked with SnapLogic, then data services. I can say without any doubt, data services is the best tool when it comes to volume. I have seen clients having data in the volume of maybe 60 crore or something more than that. But when it comes to data services, it can easily handle that much of data with ease. And when it comes to loading of data, it's tightly coupled with the SAP S4HANA system or ECC system for that case. With the use of IDOCs and BAPIs, the moment you configure and you hit a button run, it will simply move your data from the legacy to S4HANA system. So this is like the overview of what happens, you know. To each thing, there will be a process. There will always be a process to data migration. What is the first thing? You'll be having a source system. You'll be extracting this data. Then on this extracted data, you will be transforming this data. Now, what is this transformation? Transformation is simply you are making your data relevant to S4 or relevant to SAP. For example, some client had its data in Excel files and they had a name or material description which is like 200 characters. Now, SAP will not hold that many characters. I think, if I'm not wrong, it will hold more 40, right? Or 80. I'm not sure. I will come back on this. So I have to make sure like my data is so much cleaned up so that I don't lose data. What if I try to migrate some 100 characters and only 40 got loaded? Data got truncated. So this is like I'm making the data bad, right? So I have to make this data. I will apply some transformations. I will validate this data, and I will make it SAP ready. When I say SAP ready, I mean it relevant to SAP. That's the whole process of doing like transformation and validation. Transformation and validation will always go hand in hand. Then comes the load part, where most of the data migration consultants they have the issues with. Because I told you in the beginning, I have seen data migration consultants who keep on saying we have worked on the extraction part, but we don't know transformation. Some say we have worked on the transformation, but we don't know how to load. But rest assured, if we are going through this course, I will make sure like you guys are end-to-end data migration experts. It's not like going through the PPTs and telling you about what a merge transform will do, because that's not going to help you on the floor. When you are into any project, you need to be end to end. When I say end to end, I give you my source system, but this is my source system and this is my target system. Please do the data migration. So that's how it's going to be. It's not going to be a PPT sort of reading PPTs. That's not how we will do it. Coming back to the overall process. So once I'm extracting the data, I'll be transforming this data. I will be validating this data. The moment I validate my data, it becomes my enriched data or load ready data. I'll be sending this load ready data to my business. I will get this validated. If they give me a green signal, I will load this. The moment you load, again, you will create something called post-load reports or reconciliation reports. Once our business owners validate the reconciliation reports and they are good with that, we close the object. Otherwise, we will raise Zyra tickets and then we will work on the bugs or defects. That's the overall process of ETL or the data migration concept. Batch data conversion, we already discussed about this. LSMW, most of the clients will not be giving access to LSMWs as of now because it's such a powerful tool that you can do anything with the data in your S4HANA system. So most of the clients, they will seldom give the access to using LSMWs because they are like, we already have LTMC, go through that process because it's a standard. You cannot do anything with LTMC, like changing the data. For example, if I'm trying to load data using IDOCs or BAPIs and something is happening there, I'm unable to load data, then only LSMWs come into picture. That's the last case. If I am not having any IDOC, I'm not having any BAPI, I'm not having LTMC template to do it, then only I'll be taking help of LSMWs. But I would recommend we have to avoid it. Yeah. Okay. I just want to throw some light on BPs, just a quick overview. In S4HANA, we have a concept of business partners. What SAP believes in is like, if it's a customer, it's a vendor, it's a business partner for us. It's not like a customer. What if a customer is also a vendor? I'm selling something to someone and I'm also purchasing something from him. In ECC, what used to happen is like, I used to have a vendor, then I used to have the same person as customer, and then I used to have the duplicate data at the address level. Now what SAP recommends is like, we will be creating business partners and we'll be assigning the roles to a business partner. For example, Brad is a customer, he's a vendor. I'll be assigning the role of customer and vendor to him. And the moment I assign the role, boom, your data will be there at the customer and vendor level. That is KNA1 and LFA1 level. Then you have to extend your different views. For example, if I have a customer, I want to extend a sales view. I have a vendor, I want to extend a purchase view. I can do that using the old CREMAS and DevMAS. But that's the main crux of BP. I don't want to have a duplicate data at any point of time. Each customer or vendor is a business partner for me. I can give the roles and I can have maybe like, we will not have any duplication of data at any point of time. Now, what you are seeing in the screen is an LTMC template. So what SAP recommends is like, uh, I will be giving you the template. You will be filling up the data, hitting next, next, next. I'll be validating it with the SAP system or S4HANA system, and you should be able to move data. The best part about LTMC is like, even a functional consultant, even a fresher who is not having any knowledge in SAP, he can migrate data using LTMC. That's how easy they want to make it. If you see this sheet over here, you can see this is an orange sheet. Orange sheet means it's a mandatory sheet. And these plant data, storage location, these are optional. If you want to push data for plant, you can. If you don't want, it's okay. And within each sheet, you'll be having something called mandatory sheets and mandatory fields and optional fields. Wherever there's a star, it's a mandatory field. You have to give it. So this is how we will be filling up the LTMC templates. We will then upload this template to in LTMC, and then we can map it, validate it, simulate it, and load it. This is a 6-step process, and on each next, just like clicking next, and you are done. That's how simple SAP wants it to be. Now, if anyone asks me like, how we will be going in this course, so it will be like data migration, and for data migration, we have to understand SQL. So I'll be definitely starting with SQL. Then I want to touch information stewards because at any point of time, I want to move a clean up data to S4HANA system. I don't want to move bad data. I don't want to move duplicate data. what we do, how do we set up rules, how do we write rules in information stewards. I'll be doing that. We'll be having the live sessions one-to-one, and then how to use the iDocs BAPIs to load this transform data. We will be doing that. And how do we generate the reports? What are the preload reports? What are post-load or reconciliation reports? What do we do in case of errors? Everything we are going to touch in this course. What ZaranTech offers? It offers the best quality trainings. As I already mentioned, we don't do something called going through the PPTs. We believe in quality trainings. Like if I give you my system, legacy and target, you should be able to migrate data. I don't want anyone to have the theoretical knowledge because it does not help me on the floor. That's what we believe in. As ZaranTech, we assure you, like we will be giving you the training which will add some knowledge to you, which will give you some knowledge, and it will definitely help you grow in your careers. Why choose us? Simple. We provide the best quality trainings. No PPT readings. Simple. Come to the basics. If I give you a system, you should be able to handle it.
As a part of this training today, or the session today, are we showing the system?
I recommend not, Alok, because I
Okay.
want to go from scratch. That is SQL. I don't want to move straight away from data services because I
Okay.
believe in building up a strong foundation. Once
Okay.
everybody gets accustomed to SQL, we should be great from there.
And as a part of the lab, we are doing an 80-20 structure, right? 80% will be hands-on and 20 will be the slides and theory. Is that correct?
Yeah, my main focus
Yeah.
is going to be hands-on because I told you we will never go like going through the PPTs and telling the resource like candidates like this is merge transform and this is case transform, which is not helping them on the floor. When I say on the floor, I mean in their projects. I want to give them some real-time trainings, how to configure an IDOC, how to validate the data, how to connect the system. I just want to connect the dots so that it helps them out. And trust me, if you guys are dedicated, it's definitely going to help you. Definitely. Are you interested in appearing for, is this for me, Alok? I would say yes.
No, it's just a poll for everybody else.
Okay.
That's a regular thing we do anyway. So yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah.
And what is the S4 HANA version that
Yeah.
that is being used in the training? That's on premise, right? Latest one.
Yeah, we'll be using 1909.
Okay.
And ultimately, Alok, it's not going to affect them,
Make
be it
make any
1909 or
difference?
be it something else. Once you are
Okay.
accustomed to how to use data services or how to load data using BAPIs, iDocs, LSMWs, how to validate data, it does not matter.
Okay. Also, as a part of this session, at the end of the session, the trainer is going to take all your questions one at a time, and then you can ask whatever questions you have. When it comes to the course fee and everything, we'll take that offline. You can email us. We'll send you all the details. The schedule's already posted for you in the chat box. Anything about lab, what tools and everything, he'll cover here very soon. And then how we deliver the training will be covered after that. We are going to show you the whole LMS, learning management system, what documents you get, how the labs are conducted, how you can practice. All of that will be talked about in after he's done with his slides. Thank you. Go ahead.
Now I want to focus myself on the questions. Yeah, please.
And in terms of access, if I'm correct, actually, we will have S4 HANA access, SAP HANA Studio. Those are the two access because we need the target access to make sure the data is loaded. And also we need SAP HANA Studio access, correct?
Yeah, we will be giving you a repository where you can train, where you can practice, and we already have the servers We have all the infra for that. We have an ECC system, or we can make use of Excel files. Then we have HANA Studio setup. We have S4 HANA system setup. That's the only way we are going to have the live sessions, live demos, how to migrate data. So everything is set up. I would like to thank Alok for that, for helping us in doing that.
Okay, thank you.
Ready? Whenever you're ready, I can take a series of questions in order. Just let me.
You see, the training will be some 40 hours, right? So is
Correct.
it a weekly training or on daily basis?
It's a weekend training, 3 hours each session, Saturday and Sunday, 8 p.m. IST to 11 p.m. IST. If you're in India, 9:30 a.m. CST to 12:30 p.m. CST. So those are the timings. As a part of the session, because most people are available on the weekends, everybody is basically a working consultant. So, and then as a part of the training, you will also, you will basically attend the live sessions. After every live session, the recording of the session will be uploaded in the learning management system. You will have access to the learning management system, where you will have access to all the session PowerPoints. You will have access to all the lab documents, which are PDFs. You will have access to assessments. You will have access to assignments. Everything will be shared as a part of the LMS. Learning management is the students who will have access to the learning management system can only view the videos. It's not shared outside. And you can go through that training. The learning management system can be accessed from any device. Zoom meeting links will be also posted there, so you can click the link and attend as you want. And then the server access will be available for 2 months. The server access details are already shared in the chat, and then you can practice. The server setup and everything's already there. So and that's how we're going to deliver this training.
Okay, thank you.
Sounds good, no problem. The next question I will take. Go ahead.
Well, so how about what are the objects you will be discussing as part of training? Is it only like customer vendor or even transactional like MMSD, and it will cover?
So when it comes to the training, I would be mostly focused on master data, because when it comes to loading data, it's an IDOC or a BAPI. If you are able to load data using an IDOC for master data, you can easily load it for transactional objects, because master data is a bit complex. If you are able to handle complex objects, then I don't think you'll be having any issues with the transaction. But if you need any guidance over there, I can help. I would be happy to help you.
One more question I see. Sorry, I have to take this question and answer this. All your payment questions, course fees, please send us an email to info@ZaranTech. We'll send you that. And yes, if you're in India, there are EMI options. If you're in US, there are installment options to make the payment. Sorry, I don't want to bring that payment question, but it's coming way too many times. So I just wanted to answer one at a time, one shot. Thank you. Go ahead, please. Sorry. So, go ahead, Brian.
I can see a question. As a functional consultant and do not have programming experience, how can we move to S4 HANA data migration? If you are my answer would be, if you are a functional consultant, you would be having an added advantage, because you know how the data flows in SAP. And it's not going to be something difficult, because you are already accustomed to S4 or SAP systems. It should not be a big task. The only thing we need to learn is data services. That should be it. Okay. Does the migration process validate the data field which were made mandatory after 5-6 years of implementation? So what happens with the validation is, like, I want to make data SAP ready. Data can be of 2 types, SAP ready or business ready. When I say SAP ready, I want to make sure all my mandatory fields have a data, and all my configurable fields should have the proper data. For example, I'm trying to move data for a country. This country, for example, US should be configured in T006, right? So this is like validating the data as per the SAP system, what my current SAP system holds. Now, what is business ready data? What if business ready is something like what business wants on top of SAP ready? What if there's a field in telephone numbers, right? It's not mandatory. Some companies want to make telephone numbers mandatory. So I can have some added validations on top of the existing SAP ready data. The question, but please remember, can I migrate data which is not SAP ready? No. Can I migrate data which is not business ready? Yes, I can. The core thing is making data SAP ready. Did I answer the question?
And I got the
Okay.
answer. Okay, thank
Got
you.
it, got it. We have some hands raised. We'll take that first.
Yeah, my question was about having master data and transactional data. We see mostly that transactional data are more complicated because it can have an open item, we can have a clear item. And so are we going to cover transactional data as well, or only master data will be covered in this trade?
I would like to answer this question like, if you need any guidance on transactional data, I would be happy to help because that would also be something like a learning experience for me. But for this course, I would mainly focus on master data. Now coming to your second question, transaction data is complex. What if we take the top down, we usually take top down approach for data migration. Like we focus on master data first, and then we focus on transactional data. And by doing that, sometimes there can be some errors. But what if we take the bottom top approach? By doing that, for example, what I mean by bottom down, I will first analyze my transactional data. For example, I analyze my AP, accounts payable data, right? Then I can get to know how many vendors do I need. So this is a different approach, you know. One can be top to bottom approach, like going from master to transaction. The other thing can be bottom to top approach. And if you use bottom to top approach, the migration of transaction master, nothing is going to be complex, my friend.
Okay, I just wanted to ensure that transactional data will be covered because in our real-time experience, we see master data most of the time. It's a very static where a transactional data have open item, clear item. So we always have this discrepancy in the balances, telling with the balances, and also we don't see much in master data because it's more static in nature. So that's why I was focusing on the transactional data, because even the users are more concerned about the transactional data. They wanted to make sure that my closing balance is carried forward correctly. Master data, they're not much concerned. I mean, of course, it's important, but they mostly focus on the transactional data. So that's what I was focusing on that. It should be taken care in during the training. It is from the user perspective, we have experienced that most of the time user will focus on the transactional data because master data most of the data are very static in nature.
Makes sense, Sunil. But I would say the real work of data migration consultants starts from mapping documents. And who prepares these documents? Mapping documents is like a functional consultant. If he's good at his work, he's creating the mapping rules correctly, I don't think there will be any issues with the data. So in our scope, it's like reading the mapping documents, creating the programs, and migrating data as per the mapping documents. Because mapping document is like a Bible to us, right?
So as long as you guide us on the transactional data as well, it should be fine. It should be good enough for us. But I just wanted to have an assurance that okay, transactional data also will be either be covered or you will be guiding us on.
What do you mean by guidance, Sunil?
I mean, while doing this training, you will be covering this transactional data. I just wanted to ensure that you will be covering this topic as well during the training.
Yeah, we will. For example, if I'm trying to migrate material master, I will touch bill of materials as well. If I'm trying to move customers, I will try my best to touch uh, accounts receivables as well. That should not be an issue. But my main agenda would be to help each one of you to migrate data using IDOCs and BAPIs and LTMC. Because if you can migrate data use for one IDOC, you can migrate for each and every IDOC that's present there. The only thing is configuring IDOCs and BAPIs correctly in data services. Because objects will change, namings can change, but the process will always be the same. That is IDOCs and BAPIs. If you're good at it, I don't think you should be worrying. But I will do it.
Okay.
All right. Let's take the next question. Please, unraise your hand and ask the question.
Yeah, my question is how this course is helpful to ABAPers. Currently,
Again,
I have experience in as a ABAPer.
so I can say like I already discussed this in the beginning, but I will again emphasize on this. It's going to help you if you're open to learning. My friend, if you're open to learning, then I don't think ABAP, BODS, data migration should stop us, you know. But at the end of the day, you will be definitely upskilling yourself. That's for sure. If you are an ABAPer having data services on your resume, I don't think that hurts, right?
Okay.
But definitely for an ABAPer, it's going to help you more because if I as someone who only knows data migration, I will not be able to debug IDOCs in the system. But you as an ABAPer, you know how to do it. You know how to debug a BAPI. You know how to debug an IDOC, for which a normal data migration consultant has to take the help of an ABAPer. So something like upskilling yourself and moving up the ladder, that's for sure. That's going to help you.
Like IDOC or LTMC, so that you will teach in by scratch or some knowledge also required.
No, no, no. I don't think anything is required for LTMC, any knowledge. If you know SAP, being an ABAPer, I don't think you need any extra knowledge for LTMC. Because
Okay.
for data migration, SQL, yes, I would say SQL is the base of anything for data migration because we have to deal with HANA Studio. But for LTMC, it's like an Excel, downloading an Excel and then putting up your data next 6 times and you're good to go.
And about IDOC,
IDOC, the most important thing is like configuring an IDOC from data services.
yeah.
I will help you with that.
So that you will be covering this
Definitely,
course.
definitely. I'll be having the live sessions on configuring IDOCs, configuring BAPIs, how to parallel process the IDOCs, how to explicitly parallel process the BAPIs. BAPIs cannot be parallel processed, but I will show in the live sessions how to do that because this is one of the most important questions from the interview perspective, like how to parallel process a BAPI. IDOCs, everybody knows. I will touch that.
Sure.
I do have a question here. So I can see the course curriculum and in the module 2, like we do have a module for SQL for SAP data migration. Okay. So my query is, so being functional consultants, already we are working on the direct transfer from ECC, that is the from migrating from ECC to the SAP S4HANA system. So what what this SQL will what is the advantage which will give apart from this direct transfer option which has been already been in practice?
If you ask me what SQL do to data migration, I can say without SQL, nobody will be able to handle HANA Studio. If you have to create reports, SQL is there. If you want to analyze how your data is, SQL is there. If you want to even join your tables, like for example, I have to transfer material master data. How can I create reports or how can I visualize data without SQL? It's not possible to do that. That's the reason I'll be dedicating my whole training session, that is 2 hours on SQL. When we start, I want each and everyone to go through SQL like knowing it on just as you know the palm of your hand, you know, because I want to focus firstly on SQL. If you are good in SQL, HANA Studio, then data migrations and all those reports will be a cakewalk. But my friend, SQL is very important for data migration.
Okay, so being functional consultant, is that easy to read this SQL because we are not well versed with the programming. I think
No,
SQL comes with
it's not like C# or Java. It's simple. Select star from some table. That's it. We are not going to like procedures, functions. We want to know the basic SQL. For example, how to retrieve the data from SQL, how to join the two tables, what are the different joins, and how to do something like aggregate functions. That's it. Like group by, maximum, minimum. That's it. It's not like we are not going to the indexing or something like complex concepts. No, we are not touching that because we want to ensure, at least as a data migration consultant, I should be able to visualize my data. What will help that? SQL. SQL
And
is
Brad, Just to add, we have a tutorial on SQL, which is available free of cost. Anybody who's interested in that tutorial, please email us. We'll send you all that tutorial. SQL literally would take you less than 4 hours to learn. It's like 4 sets of different languages: data query, DML, DCL, DQL, and some 4 different levels. And like Brad is saying, the basics of SQL is needed. We have a full-fledged tutorial, so we'll send you that as well. But he'll cover in the class as well. So I'm just saying, for those of you who are not aware of SQL, we'll send that tutorial. Go ahead, Brad. Sorry.
And Brad, I have a question here. Like on the SQL part itself, like in my case, like I'm a functional guy, but I have been with SAP ECC for almost 17 years, and I'm right now on SuccessFactors from last 6 years. Now, and I know early IDOCs, but I don't know how to code those early IDOCs. That's the question one. And second thing was the SQL. I can understand SQL, but I don't know how to write the code in SQL. Now, keeping this in the mind, like suppose if I want to have my advancement in career, so how should I move about?
Okay, so let me retrieve what you tried to, how you tried to post your question. First is like, I think the question is it okay, or is it easy? Would it be easy for me to know SQL, right? That's the main concern. Would I be able to do it?
Yes, that is question one. And second thing is like, if you are you have already answered this question, but if you are a functional guy, and especially I'm in the HCM domain, because I'm the SuccessFactors domain, like I'm certified on SuccessFactors. So now if I want to move about in data migration, is it easy for me to move about, and how should I position myself in my career?
See, I will be honest. It depends on what you want from your career. If somebody asks me, like, you have to upskill yourself here or there, and it will help you, it will definitely help me. Because if I'm investing something in maybe in knowing a skill, I don't think that goes waste, right? And then you are telling me about the SQL. SQL, it's not difficult, buddy. It's simply like simple English statements. It's not like C# or Java. It's simple statements. Select star from this table. Select star from, or select this field from this table. So it's easy. On SQL part, I can say, like, I will be there to help you. Like anything, wherever you need my support, I'll be there. And on the career upskilling, SAP S/4HANA data migration is definitely going to help you. Okay, I will give you one scenario. Even if you don't want to move to S/4HANA, but you will definitely be having your team with so many years of experience. You at least know what is happening in your team. If you are good at knowing like what your data migration team is doing, or I think it will be even helpful to you in your projects, being a leader. It's not necessary, right? Like you will be going with 17 years of experience, you will just move to data services and you will start writing queries. I don't expect you to do that. But having the knowledge of like how the data is moving, and for example, you go to some client someday and he asks you something about data migration, and you can open some new opportunities for your maybe company, for yourself. You never know.
One more question, like, is the if I go for certification on this, I think it's C_DS_42, which is related to data migration.
True.
So if I go for certification, will that help? Like nowadays, are companies asking for this certification, or it's just good to have?
With your, like, you told me you are having 17 years of experience, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, so if I was in your shoes, I would go with any certification that comes in my way. Why? Because the moment we pitch in front of clients, certifications definitely help, because they get sort of a validation, like this guy knows this, you know?
Yes, that is correct. Yep.
Yeah, it's not like I already discussed it. It's not like I expect you to open data services and do it, but having knowledge of data migration, I I I know, like, if you go to your client someday, and or you go to some you are bidding for some projects, it's going to help you because the client comes to know, yeah, this guy knows in and out of SAP. So it does help.
one last question, please. Yep.
Please,
Yeah,
please,
please go ahead.
please.
Well, so actually, what we usually do is like in data migration, we will have a strategy and we will figure it out like how many years of old data we need to migrate and what is called active data and blah, 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 right? So usually if that is the case and to filter out the data, we use tools like Informatica to segregate and we transform them for SAP ready or a business ready by putting certain rules. And once it is ready, then we used to run through validation programs in ECC and upload it. That was our usual experience. Now, coming to, sorry, I don't have much S/4HANA experience here, but how this will happen in this given scenario, if you can just brief us like at a super high level, that helps if it is already covered, because you're
Ravi,
talking about SQL without ETL. Just I'm trying to understand this better.
S/4HANA ECC, SAP has to package itself. You can say like it's not completely like old wine in the new bottle. There are something advances, there are updates, but it's not like it's something out of the box or something new. If you have been working on ECC, working on S4 is not going to be a challenge, That should not be a worry.
Okay. So
I'm sorry, I forgot your one more question was there, right?
So the thing is like, while strategizing, right? If somebody comes and says like, I need all the 3-year-old vendors list, whether we have done transaction or not, and we need all the data to be migrated, then how this validation will happen?
Data services is a tool that uses SQL in the backend, but from the front end, it's like a drag and drop tool. You have all the validations readily available in data migration, and we usually segregate our validations like validation mandatory, lookup, and cross-referencing. So for example, you want to migrate on data for 3 years old data. I give you a question. I have a question for you. You ask me, Brad, I want to know data only 3 years old. Okay. But for example, you want me to move materials, say for example, 3-year-old material, you don't want to migrate, but I find out using my validations or using information stewards, you sold a material 9 years ago and it has a warranty of 10 years. What if your customer comes back after 9.5 years? You have to give him the service, right?
Right.
So you have to manufacture that material at least till 10 years. So these are the kind of reports which will be generated using BODS or data services and information stewards. Because when we migrate data, we don't want to lose a dollar and we don't want to lose any record. If I lose a record or if I lose a dollar, it's going to impact my client. That's the beauty of data services and information stewards. It takes into account all the ifs and buts. If you try to say, you tell me, hey, Brad, I don't want to migrate this vendor, but I found out a purchase order, or we have already a sales contract signed with them, like, hey, we will get the material for the next 20 years from you. What will happen? So we have to, that's the reason when I was discussing the approach, I would personally suggest going bottom to top approach. I will go to each and every transaction object and then figure out how my master data should look like, not the other way around. I mostly get a question, why do data migration projects fail? These are some of the typical answers to it, because we are not taking ifs and buts into consideration. We just figure out, okay, if a material has been marked for deletion in legacy, I won't know it. If there's a one-time customer, I won't know it. If a customer has been marked for deletion at the basic level, I won't know it. But what if you have a bill of material and you cannot have a bill of material with a missing component, right? So I have to go from the bottom top approach. That's the way you can strategize your data migration. And in each and every session, I always recommend going from information stewards. If you do not use information steward, you don't know your data needs corrections. I don't think it makes sense for me to migrate bad data. If you tell me, like, I have to migrate PepsiCo data from UK and US, I migrate my PepsiCo is dealing with someone from Germany, and both PepsiCo UK and PepsiCo US is having the transactions with it. Now, if I move PepsiCo UK and PepsiCo US to S4 HANA, I will have duplicate data because in my UK ERP system, it will be as a customer or vendor. And again, in my UK system, it will be there as a customer vendor. I will be migrating duplicate data. That's the reason I always recommend going from informations to web, cleaning your data in scope. I'm I hope I answered your question.
Right. Just one small addition there. Like, see, and we also used to have like MDM system where all our master data used to be passed through MDM and then coming back to ECC and so on, right? So
Yeah.
in this case, will when it's moving to S4HANA with the MDM as a combination, is
it depends on the client, Ravi Shekhar. You know what's happening right now is like SAP recommends using MDG system. So if usually 90% of the clients go for it, they will migrate their data, master data to MDG system, and then get it replicated back to S4 HANA system, so that they have maybe some 2-3 data owners who do not let the data go bad again. But again, it depends on the client. Some clients go for MDG and S4 HANA combination. Some people prefer going to only S4 HANA. That depends on the client. But the advice thing is like move your master data to MDG and move your transactional data to S4 HANA and get the master data replicated from MDG to S4 HANA. That's still there, and that's the great practice.
One more thing I wanted to tell you guys. I see a lot of people are still in this session and they're asking us a question. If you are not able to get an answer to your question or able to ask all those questions, please feel free to send an email to info@ZaranTech.com, and we will answer all those questions for you. So if you want to send all those questions, you want to go offline and do it, that's fine. Okay. Yeah, ask your question, please. Go ahead.
Okay, hi. My question is, I think, very short. How is the approach for the training going to be? Are we going to have a real-time source data, and then we're going to move this data to the target system? Is that how it's going to be? Is it going to be a real-time business scenario, or is it going to be generic?
Definitely, it's going to be the real scenarios. We'll be having the mocked-up data or the data that we will be migrating to S4 HANA system. We will not be going or reading through the slides. No, we'll be having sessions where we will be having the data, transforming it, validating it, creating the preload reports, loading it to S4 HANA system. How do we process the IDOCs, BAPIs, everything, and then how do we generate the reconciliation reports? Everything will be there. It will not be like reading through the slides. That's for sure.
Sounds good. Next question, please.
I have 2 questions, yes, because I am also doing many migration projects, yes, but till now I use LTMC, LTMOM, and DMC. Now my one question is very complicated because we have many non-SAP system, yeah, and I using ETL tool called Talent, yes. How can I, because I extract the data from non-SAP system, and then Talent has the component which can transfer my data to the SAP. And Talent has also have stewards, everything there itself. Now, how can I convince my company team, company board to use the BODS? Yes. So this I am not.
The first thing I would ask you is, what is the volume of data you are having?
See, the non-SAP systems are many years, many countries, almost 60 to 70 countries using non-SAP system, yes. And now we are bringing into the SAP system, yes. Some are using SAP, some are using non-SAP. So the challenges come from the non-SAP. So what I am doing now, I use the Talent tool, extract those data into DB Weaver, and then Talent has some component which can transfer this data to the SAP. And I am not sure that if I convince my team to use BODS, so that I need some input from you, yeah.
As I already asked you, it depends on the volume of data. What system you should use. If you ask SAP, what should we use? They will always recommend SAP BODS. The reason is it can handle large volumes of data. I worked in the past where we had like the data in the volume of millions, and the moment we used to run our data through SnapLogic, there's a tool called SnapLogic. It used to fail. And then what most of the tools do is like they will internally use the IDOCs and the BAPIs again to load data to S4HANA, because there is no other way around. You have to use the IDOCs and the BAPIs when it comes to load the data. LTMC is now used like it's something SAP has created just to make it easy. But internally, even internally, LTMC is using a function module. So Talent or any other tool has to use what? Function modules or BAPIs.
Yeah, right. Yes, the BAPI.
So if you ask me, would these BAPIs or IDOCs be tightly coupled with the SAP product data services or Talent? Definitely data services, right?
Yeah, the
It's
services,
going
yeah.
to be fast. Definitely. If you are having data in huge volume, then using data services makes sense. Now, what I understand is like you are making your data, then transforming, and then using LTMC. But for most of the consultants, when the volume of data is huge, it becomes a burden for them to use LTMC, because it's very difficult to manage data in files, right? In data services, what we do is like we configure an IDOC one time. The moment you hit like execute, it's there like the flash, it's super easy and it's super fast. Related to LTMC, using IDOCs is like super fast. Then BAPIs. BAPIs are relatively slower than IDOCs. But SAP itself recommends using data services because it's tightly coupled with IDOCs and BAPIs, because it's an SAP product and they have to keep it alive,
Is this also these services also cover all this Y field and the Z fields?
Again, see, I have an IDOC, you have some custom fields, right? Then we can always have some enhancements. For example, you want to enhance your IDOC, our functional consultants can do that, or our ABAPers can do that. Now you have a function module, it's a standard module, but you have some Z fields. Then we can ask our ABAPers to create a wrapper. We create a wrapper which will internally use the existing BAPI or the function module, and then on top of that, he will just write some code for these Z fields, and we are good to go, because we have to call the BAPI in the data services. It's super easy I personally will always use IDOCs followed by BAPIs. Then if I don't have anything, I will use LTMC, because I have seen in case of classes and characteristics, if you try to load currency fields, it sometimes is a headache for me. The currency fields don't get loaded using LTMC, and it's very difficult for me to manage the sheets. For IDOCs and BAPIs, I already have the data in my tables. I configure my IDOC once and boom, I'm good to go.
One last question is yeah. Is the BODS, like if I tell my company to go through BODS, is this the additional cost the company have to pay? These are for the services.
Again, it depends on the client. If a client is already using ECC, I assume they'll be having the BODS licenses. But if they are new to SAP, then SAP asks us to have what we call as MDG systems, and then they will give you the license to use SAP BODS. Nowadays, whosoever has data services, they are using it. If you are not having the license to use data services, then what happens is like you have to purchase MDG and BODS is given on top of it. But again, if you choose like some organizations which act as your SAP partners, they will get all these XSS licenses for you because they already have the licenses.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
So as I'm seeing that most of the people in this meeting are pretty much experienced. So I am a fresher. I would say that actually I have a functional experience in SD of 1 year, but I haven't done any implementation or support projects as such. But just want some career guidance from Brad. Like I'm a fresher, so I have some experience in data analysis previously. So I am pretty much aware about the Python and SQL and all the ETL process which you discussed earlier. So just want to ask about what would be the challenges and what would be the future opportunities if I want to transform from functional to data migration consultant, or if I want to let's say become a BI consultant in future. So that's the first question. And one more question regarding AI, if you are aware about it. Like I attended the Sapphire previously, and they introduced a Joule software. And most of the consultants, I asked them, and most of them were like, it's pretty much difficult for freshers to continue. Most of the tasks will be automated, and they were like saying that consultants will be obsolete, like there will be no opportunities for freshers in the future. So I'm pretty confused, like choosing the career between data analysis and the continuing as a career in SAP. So if you are able to, can you help me with guidance?
Okay, Sadesh, I go for the first question. You are a fresher. So my friend, it's easy to write on a new paper rather than erasing something and then writing it again. It's very easy for you to learn because you don't have to unlearn something. The second thing is AI. If AI could take up all the jobs, then I think the economy of the major countries would collapse, buddy. Because what AI is going to do, it's going to take up those jobs which require, like, which are, what do we call that? Which we do. For example, there's a task.
One-day tasks, repetitive.
Repetitive. For example, I have to run a job. Every day I'm coming to my office, running an extract job and I'm extracting data. AI can do that, but when it comes to real life transformations, real time data loads, it's not going to happen because there are so many complex transformations. There are so many complex business rules. It's not going to happen anytime soon. The third thing is like no opportunities. No, it's not true because by 2024 only 50 to 60%. SAP as of now in ECC had 90,000 plus clients around the globe. And out of those 90,000 clients, only 50 to 60% have migrated their data to S4HANA system. Now there's a deadline of 3 years for rest of the organizations, and they have to migrate the data to S4HANA system. Otherwise their support will be gone or it will be at an added cost. So if you go to any project, any SAP project, there'll be 1 or 2 functional consultants, but 10 data migration consultants. You check in any project. So I don't think there will be obsolete or there will be no opportunities, at least for the next 6-7 years. I don't see data migration dying because SAP has to survive. They as a company will not let it happen.
Yeah.
And before that, I would like to get this answer from you, Brad. This question is coming from an anonymous attendee. That's what it says, but that's okay. Are you going to cover only SAP DS or other third-party tools like Synity, Tricentis, and FIGAF?
No, I don't want to set the wrong expectations, Alok. My prime focus would be data services and how to load data, extract data, ETL as the whole process. My main focus would be around data services.
And as an additional part, what is the best resource to learn these tools if they want to? Would you be able to provide any resources?
If they want to just go through, I'm going to say the documentation, they can go to Google and download designer services. There's a big PDF for that, designer services, like how data services works.
Okay.
But it's not going to give you the real-time scenarios. It's not giving you that.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So my question is, what is the difference between data migration cockpit and LTMC? And the next question is that, no, but one is Fury based, right?
Something. No, see, what SAP has done now is like, earlier we used to have a T code called LTMC, right? The moment we hit LTMC, then a window would open. Now they have moved it as a part of Fury, like /LP something 2, and again it's going to do the same thing, but just one thing has been moved from one place to another. It's not functionally, it has not changed.
Okay, so
going to
the
migrate
T
same
code
way.
the T code would not be available now.
No,
It is through.
LTMC is not available, but there is a T code /n/UI
Yeah, yeah.
DP something.
And then you go to the data migration cockpit app.
True. There's a
Correct?
tile for that. Migrate your data. The moment you hit that, then you have the options like you create a project. Then inside the project you have the objects. For example, I select material master, right? Or I select something else. Then you have the option to download the template. The moment you download the template, it will be an
Yeah.
XML-based template. You will fill it with data. Then you will upload the template back. Then you will map the data, and then you will validate data, simulate data, and then you will migrate it. Then
Correct,
it will
correct.
give you a real-time report, right?
Yes, my question is, so if suppose I have uploaded like 1,000 vendor masters, okay, so what if there are some changes? Let's assume that name 1 and name 2, have changes. So can we do it with data migration cockpit or LTMC?
I don't think, for example, now S4HANA is not having vendors, it's having a business partner.
Yes. Let's assume business partners.
So as of now, I have not personally updated the vendor. You should be able to do it with some T code, but or you can go to BP transaction and do some updates. But from the migration point of view, if a BP has been created using an external number range, then it is done. You cannot recreate it because it will say it already exists.
I'm saying that if I have to change mass data, like 1,000 vendors, name 1 and name 2, like just if you see, they have mismatched.
I got it. For example, if you have a mismatch for 1,000 records, now you want to update it, then we will try to find out a function module or a BAPI that updates a BP, and then we will call that BP from data services, and we should be able to do it.
So that needs ABAP help.
ABAP helps everywhere. SAP itself has been created on top of ABAP, so SAP cannot even exist without ABAP.
Yeah, so that is the only way we can do it, right?
Yeah,
standard solution is not there.
No, I never said standard solution is not there. I said we go and we figure out if there is any BAPI that is readily available that can update a business partner. If it's there, we can do it using the data services. If it's not there, then we call our saviors, that is ABAPers. We tell them, hey, create a wrapper or a function module so that we can call it from data services. So there will always be a way out. It's because if you have an ABAPer, he will definitely be able to help. It's not like we cannot do it.
Okay.
All right, let's go to the next question, if you don't mind. A lot of questions here.
I wanted to ask one question here that, suppose one of my friend, he's also interested in learning data migration, but the problem is like, he's not from SAP. He's from the teaching background. So he was asking me, is it difficult to learn and, find a job in data migration, SAP S4HANA data migration?
See, Anuj, I don't want to give wrong commitments. Again, I'm repeating this. If someone is from teaching background and he wants to migrate to data migration, he has to put in some extra efforts. If you will take some maybe 40 hours to learn, he will take 80 hours. But he will definitely need more time because he doesn't know what software is, how does these softwares work on the back end, what is ERP system, how the data looks like. He doesn't know that, so he has to start from the scratch. There is nothing called impossible, even this what do you call him, the owner of Tesla,
Elon Musk.
If Elon Musk could read from the books and create a rocket, I don't think a teacher cannot do data migration, right? It all depends how committed you are.
Like, so suppose if the person somehow learns, so it will be easier to find a job with like zero experience in data migration. Like if my friend learns, he expertises on the tool.
If you are talented, nobody can stop you. Mark my words. If you are on top of your game, you have 1 year of experience or 30 years of experience, it doesn't matter. You should be on top of your game. You should be dedicated. I have seen, I mean to say, data migration consultants, 2 years of experience who are better than with someone having 15 years of experience because they are dedicated. I have seen them personally. I have them in my team. Having a job is like you should be on top of your game. If you are skilled, nobody is going to stop you. Trust me. There are so many opportunities.
I will take this question. With Rise with SAP, SAP is taking up a lot of migration activities for S4 brownfield themselves. What is the role of an external consultant? What is the role an external consultant can play in this space? This is a good question.
So data migration consultant can have two roles. He can suggest like what should be the scope, or he can let us know like which tools we can use, or what kind of data we can move. What he can play numerous roles, or he can migrate data, or he can lead teams, or he can set up the systems, right?
Okay. Sounds good.
Like, this data migration will have very minimal knowledge. So it's easier for functional guys to move to this, right? I know you already answered this question, just confirming again.
See, in order to test the waters, you have to at least put your feet into it, right? By sitting on maybe on the side, you don't know what the opportunities are there. Functional consultant, fresher, anything, it doesn't matter. It will again come down to the commitment. It can be easy for you to learn like playing a violin, but it can be difficult for me. It doesn't matter. It depends on your commitment, how committed somebody is. If you want to learn, you can learn anything, well, no matter from where you come.
We can go to the next question, please. If you don't mind, sorry to go so fast.
Really quick one. I guess I did ask on Q&A section. So is there any SAP certification? The one which you mentioned is expired, and I don't see any new.
We will find out from SAP, because I went to training.sap.com certification, and then I can't find that C_that DS certification. You are right. It expired March 2024. So I will reach out to SAP myself and then find out what is the certification related to this and get back to you. Is that okay?
Yeah, and just a follow-up, I don't want to take much time, but as the previous candidate asked, is about Rise with SAP, right? Mostly for the cloud versions. So how is that going to play the role? Because I don't have much exposure on the Rise side, but what SAP is offering out of the box, which will already take care of not all, but some of migration. So what exactly, how will that affect whatever the learnings we are going to take from this one?
What's the exact question?
The question is like how Rise with SAP, what portion of this data migration, cleaning, transformation, what portion of that activity is already taken care by SAP with Rise with SAP?
I'm really sorry, mate. I have not gone through this as of now. I will go through this and I will get back to you on this question. I have noted it down. I don't want to give you any answers which I don't know.
Please email us at info@ZaranTech and I'll get the answer for you, if you don't mind.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. Sure.
All right, no problem. Next person.
Yeah, actually, see whether, okay, this is a data migration type of learning, like how to migrate the data from legacy to S4 HANA, or so whether, I mean, I'm actually a SAP SD consultant with around 17 years experience. So whether we need to have any knowledge on S4 HANA, like there may be some areas which are, I mean, which may be where, I mean, there may be some additional features in S4 which may not be there in the current ECC. So, I mean, whether we need to equip ourselves with that for, I mean, in order to go for the data migration. I mean, when we are trying to build a career in that. So, I mean, yeah.
I don't think you need to have like the knowledge of S4 HANA system functionally.
Okay.
For us, S4 HANA ECC, or even if SAP comes out with like Q5 in the future, it's like an ERP system to us. Our only scope is to migrate data.
Okay.
And for that, knowing SAP is like, it's an advantage. If you are into SD, you can know it better than somebody else, like how the data flows for customers, how the data will flow from this view to that view, what are the configurations needed for BPs, customers, vendors. So you just an added advantage. but nothing like we need to be the master of S/4HANA before we can know data migration, because for data migration consultants is just another ERP system.
Okay, okay. And also you were mentioning that SQL, that this is a prerequisite, so
It's not like
SQL
we
is
have, yeah, it's not like something like we have to know complex SQL. If somebody just goes through basic SQL, like select star from this table,
okay,
how
okay,
to use the joins, I have already dedicated my 2-hour session on that.
okay, okay.
I'll be going through each and every SQL statements that we are going to use in our data migration. So nothing to worry on that. I will cover that for sure.
Hey,
Even
Brad,
the first session.
Brad, if you want to stop your share, I want to show them the LMS, the curriculum, if that is just for, I'll take like 10 minutes to explain all this. And a lot of people are asking about that. So let's just go do this quick, okay? All right, so if you can see my screen, please somebody say yes, or then I'll proceed.
I can.
Awesome. So I'm showing you an example of our learning management system, how you're going to get the access and everything else. This here right now, I'm showing you an SAP SuccessFactors training we did. So you're going to have access to a site start google.com, which you can, it'll be given to your Gmail ID. And then you'll have this access, something like this. Okay, this is a sample I'm just showing you. You can raise your tickets here, which if in case you get course curriculum will be posted, something like this. And we'll share all the materials. This is a question a lot of people were asking, so I'm going to go a little bit in detail here, okay? Every session PowerPoint, like this, like the trainer which he's showing right now, will be shared. I'm going to give you an idea here. None of the materials we use is SAP's. We'll always use our own material, which is built in-house. Every material we do is built in-house, everything. From every session PowerPoint to assignments to assessments to lab. And I'm going to show you that as well. So let's just go here and I'll show you this. So these are our lab materials. Again, ZaranTech's logo is going to be always there. All these labs will be shared with you. Then all the reference materials, if anything is available online, which is free, I mean, available publicly. That's what I'm going to say, not online, free. That's going to be provided as well. Again, all the session PowerPoints, lab activity, assignment, assessment is not here, but for your training, it will be a part of it, okay? Video recording links, again, all the video recordings will be posted after a session completes, like for this session, which is a demo session, the video will be posted. You can literally click here, watch this video. You can actually use this system, use this LMS on any device at any time. You'll have access to this at all times. So all the video recordings for the sessions will be posted here. Meeting links, which you just attended today, will be posted here. You just click the link, attend the session, what topics was covered, everything will be posted here. We take attendance very seriously. If 80% attendance is not there, we cannot provide the certificate of completion from ZaranTech. Our certificate of completion from ZaranTech is a verifiable certificate of completion. Your employer, wherever you go and apply and say, hey, I've got a certificate of ZaranTech, they have to put in that code of the certificate of completion and then go to our website and verify if you have completed that training. So this is how we run our training sessions. Again, you will have meeting links, you will get reminders, all of that stuff. This is how we do the training program. As far, one second, I'll come to the questions. As far as the course curriculum, I have shared this course curriculum with everybody. Audience, this is the audience. This is the curriculum we have. It's a 40-hour course. Again, 3 hours Saturday, 3 hours Sunday. This is the modules. We have emailed everybody who has come to this session all these details. On top of this, I'm going to just show you a little bit about our SAP capability deck. We are ZaranTech. We've been in business for 15 years. I'm located in US, and this is where the company actually started 15 years ago in West Des Moines, Iowa. That's where we're from. We have an offshore office in Bangalore as well, and we deliver quite a lot of trainings throughout the world. You know, we have most of our customers are in the US. Second is India. Third is Europe, South America, Africa, and all that stuff. These are few of our clients. We are very big in corporate training. Every one of these clients we have delivered training for. This is probably 1/10 of the list I'm showing you right now. If you cannot see, I'll just make it a little bigger. We are the #1 providers of corporate training for TCS, US, India, and Europe, 3 places. All of these companies we provide trainings for direct. I mean, we don't have vendors or anything. We are the vendor. We provide corporate trainings for all of them. This is a little bit about us, how we deliver training. We have, SAP corporate training, self-paced video training, staffing services, content delivery. Now, what is content delivery? A lot of times corporate companies come to us and says, hey, we have internal trainers or instructors who can do the training. Can you guys build us the course content, course delivery material, course material? We build that. We have SAP Live Access. We have a live access for a lot of different servers on dedicated client and shared. Our live access is hosted on Azure in US, and we have a lot of different professional services we provide. Corporate training, a little bit about our corporate training, how it goes. I'm trying to make it a little faster because I don't want to take much of your time. Vast trainer database, 3,800 is our trainer database. Onboarded trainers, 3,800 just in SAP. Total trainers, we have about 6,500 because we deliver Workday, Salesforce, Oracle, DevOps, Cloud, AI for business is one of our main ones, and SAP, of course. We are very big on SAP. As far as LinkedIn, we are very big on LinkedIn. My profile, I'll show you my profile, a little bit about my profile. Just go here and show you. This is my profile. My name is Alok, and I'm connected to 41,000, but we have what is called your learner communities, where we are connected to quite a number of people. We have about 10 different learner communities. These are showcase pages. And just in SAP learner community, we are connected to 67,000. All the other learner communities, we are 110, 40,000, 50,000. So we are connected to over 400,000 people on LinkedIn, just on LinkedIn itself. Quite a lot of people we are connected to. Student metrics is very important to us when we do corporate training. Engagement metrics, performance progress, technical metrics, feedback, learning behaviors, all of this we check on our corporate section. This is just certificate of completion, as I was talking to you about. Every student who's going to complete the training is going to receive this. And this is your ID, which is going to be there. Anybody can scan this ID. It's verifiable. You can actually post this in your LinkedIn, and we will verify that as well. We'll, obviously say congrats and all that stuff. But if your employer wants to verify, they can always verify this with this ID. Self-learning videos, we have about 130 courses online on our Teachable platform, which is ZaranTech.teachable.com. And if anybody is interested, they can go check that out. But we have about 190 courses. All our video training courses are listed here under SAP. Same way, we have quite a number of courses on our platform. If you click on that and go here, all these courses, whatever course you want, you just click on the course, it's all there. This is only video training. Like you can see here, we have about Workday courses, cloud, data science, Salesforce, all this stuff. Okay, I'm not going to bore you much about this. Give me 1 second. I'm going to flow fast. Okay. This is how our video training works. And we provide staffing services. We only work with direct vendors. We don't work with sub vendors or anything. I'm going to skip that. I just talked to you about content delivery, material creation process, live access. We provide live access. Most of our systems are on FAA 2023, and live access, we have systems built almost where our customers, our direct clients, direct customers, they use our systems for POCs. So our live access is very well configured with the full end-to-end configurations and with the IDDo data. So we have, if you're interested in your live access, if your company is interested, they want to do POC, you can always reach out to us. We'll provide that. All the details are right here. If I click that link, you'll see all these live access we have. These are the premium systems we have. This is all the systems we have, popular integration systems we have, industry scenarios we have, and basis systems. Again, I'm not going to go into this too much in detail. And I'm going to show a little bit more. Other services we have is this. This is all we provide. This is our phone number, website, email ID. This is where we are located. All right, that's it. So now I'm going to go. Any questions on this, please ask. You can unmute and ask. Go ahead.
Whether you are also into development, you are said training, you provide training to these many corporates.
Yeah, we don't do development per se ourselves. We are not in that, but we do work with quite a lot of system companies providing development. Yes, we do. We have quite a lot of companies we associate with. and then they provide those services. Our end goal is to provide all the services the clients, customers want. We have huge amount of connections. So yes, we can provide that service as well. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, okay.
Sounds good. Next question.
We are we provided data migration as a service from external system to SAP ECC and SAP ECC to Oracle Fusion from 2018. And in fact, I myself have like 20 plus of years of experience in particularly on data migration service. But however, somehow we missed the boat of S/4HANA data migration services. And here we never offered this as a separate service. It worked very well for us when we were working with partners in SAP ECC. But here, the biggest question I like to ask is like, is there any demand for SAP S/4HANA data migration as a separate service in the market? If we do this service offering, will it be a right thing? Just help me out with this. It may not be the right question here, but I just want to.
So the question is, Rabhishek, like, what is this like? What is the opportunity for data migration? Is it something like that? Or so no. If you can rephrase your question, please.
Right. So earlier we used to offer only data migration as an exclusive service from our startup organization, Trijula. And there we used to get a lot of demand from Oracle partners to extract data from SAP and also from SAP partners to migrate data from external systems like mainframes or third-party systems who are migrating some of their merger and acquisition projects. So only data migration as a service, we were able to offer this from core SAP ECC. But however, we have not devised a service offering to, within the S/4HANA ecosystem. If we take up this, is it the right thing or wrong thing? I'm just checking with you.
I don't think without S/4HANA, anybody is going to survive in the market, because SAP is going to stop the support from 2027.
Right.
Or even if it's going to offer the support, it's going to be maybe costly. And what if the clients cannot take that?
Right.
And what if, for example, you need some support after 2027? You need maybe the data is not moving. Usually we raise the SAP tickets, right? If we have any concerns with maybe the system, ECC, something. Once ECC stops the service, what will happen? So I think the only solution is moving to S4. That's the only bus we have. We don't have a choice.
Mm-hmm. So the point is like, can data migration as a separate service, can we carve out and offer it? Because we don't want to get into an implementation and end-to-end project, only data migration.
Definitely. If you have a great data migration team, you can definitely do it, because the core of any implementation project is data migration. And trust me, any partner or any client, if they see someone or they see your organization with some great data migration consultants, they will always take the service, because everybody wants to have the best. SAP data migration is a bit complex, and most of the times it fails because of bad consultants or data migration consultants or bad teams. If you have a great team, definitely you can. Why not? And I would suggest you should.
Can you ask your question to me? You have the second part of your question to me.
Well, Alok, yeah. So I see like you're providing in almost all the ecosystem. One is like, the systems, right? So we as a small startup, sometimes we need for POC perspective, the interconnected systems. So yeah. I hope that is offered from the right?
Yes. So reach out. If we don't have a system, we can build systems. We have all these systems are built by us. All. We can show you live systems as well. You can take a user ID password. You can see all of these systems. They are on Azure. So yes, small, shops mostly work with us. Also big shops too. We work with TCS. We deliver TCS corporate trainings as a prime vendor. I mean, we train about 350 learners on a monthly basis for TCS, just for one customer, TCS. And with that, that's why we have a huge course database. Like if I just click on it again, sorry, I don't want to do a sales here, okay? So please don't get me wrong. I just want to show you what you've got. So these are all the SAP courses we offer. I'm just going to click one course just to give you an idea of what you get. This is video courses. Obviously, this is also, again, we sell to companies. They can buy these courses. They want to learn, but a lot of times it's all about the courses they want is instructor-led live training. I'm not trying to do it. I'm not trying to sell or anything. It's all here. If you want it, take a look. Session video assessment, assignment, all that stuff. You can see the preview. You can see the videos. All of this stuff. We are not a Udemy shop. We are our own shop. It's very detailed. It goes very, very detailed, as you can see. This is just Vim, and we have all the latest modules. You name it, we've got it. All the capstone project, certificate of completion, all that stuff you can go see on our website. Let me take some more questions, please. Ravi Shekhar, okay. Talam asked the question, okay. Anybody else has any question? I think, yeah, go ahead, please.
Hello, I just want to add one point here. I just want one point, like it's not whatever trainings we offer, it's not like we are running through the PPT decks, It's live sessions. We are just doing it live so that it helps you out.
Right. No, this particular session is live. Yes, it is absolutely live. Live is the best way to learn. And on top of that, we provide those. So let's say the trainer has completed session 1, 2, 3, 4. All those videos will be available within 24 to 48 hours within the LMS. So you can always go back, practice. You've got 5 days to practice. Come to the session, ask the questions, go through the live session. And then it's not like after the training is complete, we're gone. No, we're still there. If you have any questions, your customer has any question, when you're working, you have questions, all you have to do is just raise the question, send us an email, come to the session, if you have any other session. So we are always there. We've been doing this for 15 years. So yes. Any other question, guys, please? This is your time to ask any questions. I think we have taken all the questions here. Talam, you asked the question.
How can we reach separately? Is there a mail ID, personal mail ID?
Yeah, so it's info at ZaranTech.com. Info at ZaranTech.com.
Okay.
Info at ZaranTech.com. So just send us an email after this session. You will get an email as well, since you attended, and then you can always reply back, and then we'll answer that question for you. Again, this session, this batch actually starts on the 29th, coming weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Again, the timings are 9:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, 3 hours each day, 8 p.m. for our Indian colleagues, and that's 3 hours every day. That's it. All right. If you guys don't have any questions, we can conclude at this time.